The Misfits Supercard has just taken place, so let's talk about the outcome. Starting off with the main event, GIB versus Slim. This actually was a pretty decent fight, to be fair to both guys. I was kind of right on my prediction where I had said it would come down to could Slim time GIB coming in, and another thing I thought it would come down to is who would want the win more, and GIB clearly wanted to win the fight more. He was constantly on the front foot, constantly pushing the pressure, and I just think GIB stylistically is just a nightmare matchup for Slim, and we've seen that GIB is really dedicated to the sport and has really improved since even the last time we seen him in there against Jarvis, but he has really came on leaps and bounds in developing the style that he wants to implement in boxing ever since we seen him in that Jake Paul fight where he was kind of all over the show. GIB has went away and really dedicating himself to the craft. I want to say I don't know how Slim thought he won that fight, number one. Number two, how a judge scored that a draw. Like, how? Slim maybe won like 2 rounds at an absolute push. How you scored that a draw, I just don't get. I really have no idea. Like, how? And I also think GIB was very unfortunate in there not to get a knockdown during there. Also, just a thing for Misfits. Next time you're going to have one of these fights, do not have KSI or Mams Taylor on commentary. Like, I understand that KSI and Mams are obviously owners of the company. KSI is a massive name. But, like, just keep them off it. Especially KSI. I understand that he was trying to build a narrative going into this matchup that he's not friends with GIB when he probably really is, and he wanted Slim to win, etc. But the constant glazing from KSI towards Slim, I just turned the commentary off because it's like, just shut the fuck up. You're just talking shit. It's unbearable. Shut up. But overall, GIB got a good win. This is the problem that I think Misfits are going to run into, but I always think they're going to run into this problem, and then they always like kind of bounce back. Now, the cards, like the prime card with KSI and Logan Paul, going to be very hard to ever top that card because KSI and Logan Paul are 2 mega names. But this right here was a good card as well. Let's move on. What's next for GIB? We will talk about that. Next up, co-main event, Saul Pappy versus King Kenny. That there was an elbow, in my opinion. King Kenny got elbowed by Saul Pappy. I'm kind of glad, though, that King Kenny got beat. No offense. I actually find the guy pretty unbearable with the amount of shite that he talks. Saul Pappy can actually throw hands. The guy can actually box, in fairness to him. But that was an elbow. They will probably maybe go down the lines of a rematch now. I'm not too sure. I know KSI said that it wasn't an elbow, but from what I seen, it looks like the left hook of Saul Pappy misses his face, and like this part of the elbow just cracks him right here, and King Kenny goes down and the guy couldn't get up. What's next for Saul Pappy, King Kenny? We'll get into that now with both of those guys. I think there's an easy lineup here to make. That's Slim versus King Kenny. Those guys lost. I know Slim says he wants a rematch, and I wouldn't mind watching the rematch, but let's get a fight in between and do Saul Pappy versus GIB. I think that sorts itself out there. GIB versus Saul Pappy, Slim versus King Kenny. Have those 4 guys fight on the same card, and then do winner versus winner, and then loser versus loser again, and just rinse and repeat that cycle until we've seen all possible matchups out of that. Because outside of those 4 guys, I don't really know who else is in the division, and yeah, I think that's the route that Misfits need to go, to be honest. Next up, HS Tiki Talk. He didn't fight that guy, but he is going to fight Wade, the guy who does the commentary stuff for, I think he does it for MVP. He was there for Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, but he does other commentary stuff on YouTube. I don't know why I'm explaining who he is. Everybody will know who he is. But he is fighting HS Tiki Talking next. The announcement for that, though, was just horrendously cringe. I mean, I don't know what KSI was doing. But anyway, that's another fight that we're going to see. Who's going to win that one? I'm unsure. HS Tiki Talkie is definitely more athletic than what Wade is, but Wade seems to be in love with combat sports, so I'd like to think that maybe he's trained before. I'm not too sure, but again, that there's another fight that could main event a card for Misfits. Next up, Deji versus the Wood Savage. I'm going to be honest, wasn't great. I I know everyone's talking about that uppercut that Deji missed and then he followed up with the left hand, which actually was a good shot that dropped the Wood Savage. But the way the fight ended, I was just very unsure of what had happened. I'm still unsure. I still don't really know what actually went on there. Very, very weird scenario. I don't know why they announced Deji is undefeated as well when we all know he's not. What's next for Deji? I'm not too sure. Do you maybe do him, Danny Irons? I'm not too sure. I don't really know how the rankings look for the Misfits divisions. I don't really know who's in what division, to be honest. After that, we've got Jarvis versus Ben Williams. I had predicted Jarvis to get the win here. I thought he's just more committed to the game, got a better team around him, and I thought him being on the front foot would cause Ben Williams problems, and Ben Williams does tend to slow down and gas out, and that is exactly what happened in this matchup. He had a good round 1 and 2, and Jarvis was just on the front foot, putting it on him, and we've seen what happened. I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, I do believe that Ben Williams quit in there. He was gassed, he was blown out of his ass, and he went down there and looked for an excuse not to continue. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I don't know if he actually does have an ankle injury or not, but from me watching it as a viewer, it did come across that Ben Williams did quit. Outside of that, you had Pineda get a win, you had Chase Moore, the GOAT. Little Craig got a win as well. Warren Spencer got the win, and Amir Anderson got the win. Overall, this actually wasn't a bad card. I've seen on Twitter, I'm not too sure if this is 100% true, just to finish up with, that KSI has said that he will be facing the winner of Darren Till versus Tommy Fury. The fact that in 2025, we might be getting Darren Till, former UFC welterweight title challenger, former UFC middleweight top contender, fighting KSI is just insane. But yeah, that's what I think should be done next. Or do you know what? Actually, another matchup. Just thinking of it. I don't know what weight class Dean the Great's in. Do him versus Jarvis. I think that would be a fun one to watch. Deji, maybe do him versus Danny Irons. Obviously, HS Tiki Toki is fighting Wade next. Salt Pappy versus GIB. King Kenny versus Slim. I think those are the matchups that should be made next for Misfits. Overall, the Qatar card had some interesting fights. The quality can still be shit in these cards, but they are getting better, and there is definitely a place in boxing for Misfits, in my opinion. Let me know your opinions on the Supercard in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you all again in the next one.